Are your cucumbers and beans completely taking over your garden beds right now? Sprawling everywhere, getting muddy, harder to harvest, and honestly, taking up more space than what they should. But what if I told you that you don't need a metal trellis, you don't need cattle panels, and you definitely don't need to spend a fortune? You can build this simple A-frame trellis using nothing but bamboo and twine in under 30 minutes. And this one simple structure will completely transform how your garden grows. More food, healthier plants, cleaner harvests, easier picking, and it costs almost nothing. Let me show you exactly how to build it. So why does an A-frame trellis work so well? Well, first, it's true vertical gardening. Instead of your cucumbers and beans spreading out across your beds, they grow up. And when you grow up instead of out, you instantly create more usable space, which is huge if you're working with a small garden. Second is airflow. When plants are lifted off the ground on a DIY garden trellis like this, air can move freely through the leaves. That means less trapped moisture and less chance for mildew and disease to take over. Third is cleaner fruit. When you use a trellis for cucumbers, the fruit hangs naturally instead of sitting on damp soil. No more muddy cucumbers and no more rotting spots. And what about harvesting? Well, with this DIY trellis, it's so much easier. You can actually see what's ready. You don't have to dig through a jungle of vines. And the best part is this bamboo trellis is strong, lightweight, and incredibly simple to build. Okay, so let's talk materials. And this is the part I love because you truly do not need much. And you'll just need a few bamboo poles. And if you've watched my channel for a long time, you might have seen me use the larger poles for my tomatoes. For this trellis, we're going to use 4-foot poles, and they're easily available from Amazon, and I'll include the link in the description down below. So the size depends on what you're growing. If you have indeterminate tomatoes or some really long beans, maybe the 7-foot would be better, but 4-foot is good for cucumbers. So bamboo is perfect for a DIY garden trellis because it's lightweight, it's easy to work with, and it's super strong. It can handle the weight of mature vines without feeling bulky or industrial in your garden. And another thing I love about bamboo is that it's a natural material. The twine is compostable as well. So the materials you're using are not going to pollute the earth, and I've been working more on using less plastic in my garden, so I love using bamboo trellises. Next, we're going to start with just simple garden twine. I like to use natural twine because it's sturdy and it grips the bamboo well. And as I said, it's also compostable at the end of the season, so there's nothing fancy here. You'll need scissors to cut your twine, and optionally, you might need a mallet if your soil is hard and you need a little help pressing the bamboo into the ground. And that's it. There's no power tools, no hardware store run, just simple materials you may already have on hand. So let's get into how to build this. So first, you're going to take your bamboo poles and lay them out in a square almost. You want to leave some poles sticking out the bottom on the one end, as you see here. And then you'll just want to create a grid, and you can space the poles as close or far away together as you want. I am using about 10 poles here. I have 5 going one way and 5 going the other way. Now grab your twine and start wrapping tightly around the crossing point. Go around several times and don't be shy here. Then switch directions and wrap the twine between the poles in a crisscross direction. This creates tension and makes everything lock into place. Now finish with a firm knot. If it feels wobbly, make sure to add more wraps. This joint is the foundation of your trellis. So now repeat the exact same process for the other end of your trellis. So you're going to copy this and create another side. Then once both sides are up, you're going to fasten them to each other at the top. So then you're going to take the twine and do the same crisscrossing motion to fasten the 2 sides together at the top of the trellis. And just like that, you've created the main structure. So if you find that your plants need a little bit more support and the poles are not enough, you can add extra twine. So what you want to do is, starting from the bottom, you want to tie a horizontal line of twine from one side to the other. You'll want to keep it about 6 to 8 inches above the soil, then move up another 6 to 8 inches and repeat. Work your way all the way up the frame, creating evenly spaced rows. As you tie each row, pull it tight. The tighter your twine now, the better it will support heavy fruit later. Loose twine will sag once cucumbers start filling it out, so tension's really important. And if you want extra strength, especially for heavier varieties, you can also run the twine in a diagonal cross pattern between the horizontals. And that's going to create a grid and add even more support. And that's it. Just a simple structure, strong support, and built in under 30 minutes. Now let's get into putting this into the garden. So you want to position your A-frame directly over the bed where your cucumbers or beans are planted, or where you plan to plant them. And you'll want to center it so plants can grow up both sides evenly. Now push each leg of the bamboo poles about 6 to 10 inches into the soil. If your soil is soft, you can usually just press it by hand as I'm doing here, but if it's compacted, this is where the mallet comes in handy. So go leg by leg until all 4 base points are set firmly into the ground. Then give it a little shake test. It shouldn't wobble too much. A tiny bit of movement is normal, but you don't want it leaning or shifting. If it feels unstable, push it in deeper. And if you're working with raised beds, you may not need to go quite as deep, especially if the soil is loose and rich. But for in-ground beds, especially in sandy or loamy soil, going closer to that full 8 to 10 inches is going to give you better support. And also pay attention to the spacing in narrow raised beds. Keep the A-frame slightly tighter. In wide in-ground rows, you can spread it out more to give vines more room to grow. And one quick tip is if you live in a windy area, make sure to anchor it deeper than you think you need to. You can also add a support stake on each end and tie the frame to it for extra stability. And just like that, your trellis is installed and ready for planting, or ready for those vines to start climbing. So what can you actually grow on this trellis? This setup is perfect for cucumbers. They'll naturally grab onto the twine and start climbing within days. Pole beans are another favorite. Unlike the bush beans, pole beans are made for vertical gardening. They'll shoot straight up this frame and keep producing higher and higher as the season goes on. Peas also love this structure, especially in early spring. The lightweight twine gives their delicate tendrils something easy to latch onto. And if you've never grown Malabar spinach vertically, this is a great option. It vines beautifully in the warm weather and fills the trellis fast. You can even grow some small melons on this. You just have to make sure to support the fruit with little fabric slings once they start getting heavy. And here's why I love this system long term. Because first, it's affordable. You're not investing in permanent metal structures or expensive kits. Bamboo and twine are inexpensive, accessible, and easy to replace if you need to. Second, it's easy to rebuild, so if a pole cracks or the twine wears out, you just retie it. There's no special tools, no complicated hardware. It's simple enough that you could rebuild the whole thing in under 30 minutes. And third, it's scalable. Once you know how to build one, you can build 5 of them. And at the end of the season, well, you can cut the twine, stack the bamboo poles flat against a wall or in a shed, and store everything easily. When you build systems like this, gardening gets easier with every single season. And if this was helpful, make sure you like this video and subscribe for more simple homesteading systems that make gardening easier and less overwhelming. And if you're building one of these this year, comment below. I would love to know if you're trying it. And if you want more step-by-step garden systems like this, from planning to planting to preserving, come and join me inside of my school community. That's where we go deeper and build these systems together. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you, and I'll see you next time.